What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Celtics Daily channel with me, Mike Zakarian. And again, we had a slow news week, but we got a couple of things to get you into the weekend. We got the Mavs doing some stuff. We got some Simon's hype. We got to check in on our boy Keita, who's playing in some Eurobasket. And then, of course, we'll get into your comments, which, again, keep those comments coming, all right? Hit the subscribe. I've appreciated the engagement, even when it got a little feisty in there yesterday. Just keep it going. Let's get started with Dallas. So, our guy Jake Fisher and Mark Stein were reporting that Dallas is trying to get a little spicy here and make another move. Now, most likely this is to just allow them to keep Dante Exum on their roster. And let me go back to the report just so we have some accurate information here and I'm not just spewing some chaos at you. But it was reported that the Mavericks committed in early July to re-signing Dante Exum to bolster their backcourt to cope without Kyrie Irving, who we know is going to miss a ton of time for the season's first few months, but they need to shed one of their 15 standard contracts on the books. It's believed that they're pushed to make a trade to do just that, whether it involves Olivier Maxence Prosper, OMP as he goes by, or Jaden Hardy, and it looks like this is going to happen within the next week. Now, I don't necessarily think the Celtics would be involved in this unless it ends up being a 2-for-1 trade, right? Because we know that they want to move a spot open for Dante Exum. But the reason I bring it up is because they've been linked to the Celtics in a bunch of different trades, like for the last couple of months, right? There was that the thought that maybe PJ Washington would make, or Daniel Gafford, right? Those are two needs that the Celtics do have, both short-term and long-term. And if they were to be involved in something like that, maybe you see somebody like a Sam Hauser or somebody like an Anthony Simons be involved in that, because both of those things are both of those guys, their assets, their skill set are needed for the Mavericks, right? The Mavericks, for whatever reason, Nico Harrison was like, let me just see if I can get all of the big guys in the world. They've got Daniel Gafford. They've got the young guy, Derek Lively, who I know some of you in the chat have been excited about as a potential trade candidate, although I think he makes more sense with Cooper Flagg long-term than, say, Gafford. And they still have Anthony Davis there. We know they have the shooting of Klay Thompson. We mentioned the Kyrie Irving injury, but other than that, it's like D'Angelo Russell's leading the way. Of course, they've got the number 1 overall pick, Cooper Flagg. But they seem to be in a win-now mode, so I could see them getting a little bit more aggressive if they wanted to. I just wanted to bring up Hardy because Hardy has been super hit or miss. I feel like sometimes he comes off as like a bench scorer that can just go absolutely nuclear in short amount of time. But he has yet to be consistent, and we saw Jason Kidd kind of take away some of his minutes. But he's somebody that if the Celtics were able to get him on like a relatively cheap deal, not a cheap deal, but like for cheap, right? If it's just, again, some sort of 2-for-1 thing where it opens up some cap space not cap space, but a roster spot for Dallas to make a move. Just real quick, like Hardy, for his money, he makes $6 million this year and $6 million next year. He's got 2 years, $12 million left. What's kind of crazy looking at their books, Jaden Hardy actually makes more money than D'Angelo Russell, who's just making $5.6 million this year. But OMP, the other one, is only making $3 million. So if somehow they were able to do a little 2-for-1 action, where let's say both OMP and Jaden Hardy were both involved in this, and again, both young guys here. What could they send? And again, you'd have to throw in a pick or something like this to make it work. But if you threw Hauser in that deal, and again, Sam Hauser probably has more value. Again, this is most likely not going to happen. Would that work if it was Hauser? Nope, we were $1 million over the cap, so there would have to be another little minimum maybe thrown in there. Let's see, that's a Walshy work. No, I don't think so. But again, Hardy, just a name that I would like to pay attention to, whether it is this trade deadline or if he gets moved to find after he gets moved to his next landing spot to maybe poach him from there in the future. I don't know. I just like keeping an eye on Jaden Hardy. And OMP, not necessarily, we haven't seen him do too much in the NBA, but Hardy, again, like a proven bench scorer, and I just still kind of believe in his talent, even though defensively, not the best. Again, this is where we are. August 29th, we're talking about freaking Jaden Hardy. So keep that in mind. But yeah, pay attention to the Hardy party a little bit. And Dallas in general, the other report that I wanted to, just as we think about trade destinations, because again, whether we like it or not, the Celtics are going to be making another move. Whether it might be next week and it might be in 3 months, but it's definitely going to happen. And I just want to point this out, that the Brooklyn Nets, and I'm just going to run through some of their roster quickly here, but the Brooklyn Nets are a team that they even came out and said it yesterday that they are ready to take on money. That's basically what they want to do this year. They're going to be a bad basketball team that takes on money. We're going to have Michael Porter Jr. and Cam Thomas just being wild on the court, but it said that they did go out and say that they plan on taking money, and so that is a potential landing spot again. So they got Michael Porter Jr. making $38 million. They've got Nick Claxton, who is the one guy that, like, again, I don't think that Chad has been super excited about, but I like his potential as a fit for the Celtics to like be a short-term gap filler there for the big man position. Who he makes $25 million this year, and then $21 million next year, and that's it. He's got 44 left on his deal. They got Terrence Mann, who they seem to be pretty excited about, who signed a 2-year, $31 million deal. And then it's just rookies. They got Igor making $6 million. Haywood Highsmith, who they traded for, making $5 million. Nolan Traore, Noah Clowney, Drake Powell, Dariq Whitehead. Just a bunch of dudes. They still haven't figured out what they're doing with Cam Thomas. But anyways, they plan on taking money. So if the Celtics do make a move, I think we have to pay attention to the Brooklyn Nets. I think that is going to be Brooklyn Nets and the Utah Jazz are the two most likely candidates to be involved in some sort of deal moving forward. I think the Pistons and the Atlanta Hawks you can put around the edges as well. Rarely do they trade with other Eastern Conference contenders because you don't necessarily want to make them better. Last time I can remember the Celtics doing that is that Isaiah Thomas, Kyrie Irving trade, right? Way back when Jay Crowder was involved. All right, let's move on. Let's give Simons a little bit of love, all right? Because I know you guys think I'm a Simons hater, which I'm not. I'm pro Anthony Simons, but I saw a quote from a random executive, and I have to believe that this executive might be related to Anthony Simons. Because ready, this was the quote. This was the quote from an anonymous NBA executive. This is from Heavy.com. It says, I bet you he's their leading scorer. Even with Jalen, he's going to have the ball a lot, and the dude can really score. The offense is going to have to change to accommodate him, and on the last year of his contract, he's going to let it fly. As the kids say, he's a bucket. He is. That dude is a bucket. He can really fill it up, and remember, he was averaging around 20 in the West. What do you think he's going to do in the East, which is a lot less competitive? How is he not going to score and score big? I thought that was what I find interesting about this quote, because I do think there's some truth in it. I do think that Simons, is in a contract year. He's playing for his next deal, whether it's with Boston or with another team. He needs to go out and show not just the Celtics front office, but the all organizational front offices that he can score, not just score, but he can play winning basketball, right? That a team not like the Brooklyn Nets or the Portland Trail Blazers, right? Like an actual competitive team will be like, hey, here's some money, right? Because his most recent landing spot, the Trailblazers, they basically told us with that trade, they're not interested in paying Simons long term. Now, some of that is because they have Scoot Henderson and Shaedon Sharpe already on their roster. They brought Dame home. They brought Drew Holiday home. Two different timelines that don't really make sense to me, but whatever. So Simons has to go prove, like, hey, I deserve to be paid. Give me my bag. Give me my bag. I think to say he's going to score more than Jaylen Brown feels crazy. If you told me that the Celtics go full tank, and JB only plays 55 games, 60 games, then maybe I could see it. But if Jaylen Brown is playing his full allotment of minutes, Jaylen Brown is going to be the leading scorer on this team. He is because he's going to be the engine. He is going to be the engine. And I just don't see a world where Simons is going to score more than JB. That doesn't mean that doesn't mean Simons can't score more than 20 a game. I could see that happening. I think more likely we see him to go around his average of somewhere between 18 and 21. I think to say because he's in the East, he's going to have an easier time getting buckets. Maybe there's some truth to that, but you look at the rosters that he played with in Portland, he was clearly the number one guy. Where in Boston, if he's going to prove that he can play winning basketball, I think you'll see his numbers dip a little bit, not because he's playing bad, but because he's playing well. You know what I'm saying? If he needs to prove that he can facilitate, Pritchard's going to let it fly, White's going to let it fly, Jaylen Brown's going to let it fly. There's a lot of dudes that need to score on this team. So, but that is, listen, anonymous NBA executives out there saying they think Simons is going to lead the Celtics in scoring. I think that only happens, again, if the Celtics are intentionally trying to lose games. But I do think if the Celtics have a good season, say a top 3 or 4 seed, I bet Simons averages over 20 a game. And hell, I would take that. That's a huge win for both the Celtics and Anthony Simons' bank account if he can prove that he can do that on a good team. Because we've only seen good stats, bad team guy, right? We've only seen a Zach LaVine light almost. But anyways, let's keep moving. Let's talk a little Eurobasket here just for a hot second because our guy, Mr. Keita, is following up his 23-18 game today. For those of you tuning in, we usually drop this video at 10 a.m. Eastern. At 2:15, Portugal is taking on Nikola Jokic in Serbia. So Keita, after having his 23-18 just smoke show, now has to take on the best center in the league, which if you guys haven't seen this highlight, there was some crazy move. Jokic had the ball at the block and was doing all of these like head fakes and then just kind of fired the ball around like over his head, like over his back like that, and found a shooter in the corner, knocked down a three. Just crazy stuff. But just wanted to give you some of the results from yesterday. Because there was some good action from some of the superstars. Greece and Italy squared off. Greece scored 75 points. There was a crazy-ass quote from Darvin Ham saying that Giannis has to play more hero ball for the Milwaukee Bucks than he does for Greece, which is just nuts. But anyways, Giannis in how many minutes did he play? In 30 minutes, he scored 31 points and 7 rebounds in their win. It was a pretty good performance by him. We also saw Luka Doncic have himself a game. I believe he scored 30+ in the Slovenia loss. Slovenia actually lost to Poland, and this is going to be fun because I don't know what NBA players are on the Polish team right now. So let's see what that looks like. Yeah, they lost 105-95. Luka in 36 minutes scored 34, 9, and 4. Somebody named Lloyd put up 32 for Poland. Yeah, I don't know these guys. But that's still fun. And then the other, I thought there was one more matchup I wanted to pull up from yesterday. France, I mentioned, won 92-64. So anyways, these move pretty quickly. So like, again, today we've got some fun games. Germany's playing right now. I believe Germany's playing right now. Let me pull that up quickly just because Franz Wagner's on that team, so that's always fun. Yeah, Germany's up 105-80 on Sweden, and it's our guy. What's Franz doing here? Because Franz, I'm like very interested in his game. He's got 21 so far, knocking down 2 threes. I think as Franz goes, Orlando goes this year, and if you're just, scoping out the Eastern Conference competitors, that you get that. Let's get into some of your comments from yesterday, and then we'll wrap up. Again, I told you, this is a quick little Friday video to get you into the weekend, but not too much going on. Do me a favor, too, before I get into it, just a reminder, hit the comments. And listen, guys, I know you get so spicy. You get so mad about the title of these videos. Listen, I tried to tell you. Blame the game, man. YouTube. When you're a new YouTube channel, you got to do stuff like that. All right? So I don't control the title of the thumbnail. Sometimes it's not going to be your favorite thing. All right? Just, who cares? It's just a thumbnail. Let's get into it though. So we got Mr. Majestic 77 says a win-win for the Boston Celtics and the Golden State Warriors. Here we go. The Boston Celtics trade for current Golden State Warrior restricted free agent Jonathan Kuminga, along with Warriors' Buddy Hield, then sign Al Horford and sign Thon Maker, both playing the 4 with Keita and Garza at the 5. The Golden State Warriors receive Anthony Simons. What was the rest of this comment? Sorry, Anthony Simons, Sam Hauser, and the Celtics' 26 first-round draft pick. All right, Mr. Majestic, I have to believe you are a Golden State Warrior fan because you're saying the Celtics should give up their first-round pick next season, which is, we don't have Tatum this year. You think we should give up the first-round pick for Jonathan Kuminga, who has been unproven, right? Like, you guys, Kuminga has, what's it called? We think Kuminga has a lot of upside. We haven't seen it yet, and you can blame Steve Kerr because he's getting the Jason Tatum Olympic treatment where he's not playing. But in 47 games last season, he averaged 15 and 4. He shot 30% from 3. As a career, he's a 12 and 4 guy. So I don't really know. I'm not really super excited about going to get. Well, I am excited about Kuminga if he's cheap, but if you're saying we got to give up a first-round pick and Buddy Hield, I'm over the Buddy Hield experience, guys. I know he had an impressive game in the postseason, or 2 back-to-back impressive games in the postseason where I think he dropped 30. Here's the thing, man. When everybody lost their mind when Buddy went to Golden State last season, you guys want the Buddy? I just closed out of Basketball Reference, but let me give you the Buddy stats. And yes, he is a pure three-point chucker. I get it. He shot 37% from 3 last season, averaging 11 points and 3 boards, okay? Remember that number. 37% from 3, played all 82 games, averaged 11 points and 3 boards. I'm going to pull up the three-point shooter that we already have on this team. And Sammy Hauser, he played 71 games, and he shot 41% from 3. 41. He's a better three-point shooter. Of course, Buddy took a few more, but anyways, I don't think you give up the first-round pick. I don't hate the idea of trying to get our guy Al back. Although you said it is the year 2025, and you said Thon Maker. Is it Thon McCurr? What are we doing? Thon? That don, da, don, don, don. There we go. Shout out Cisco. Let me see if there's some other quotes here. We got AJB03 says, if Kata turns out to be a starting center, do the Celtics have enough to contend when Tatum comes back next year? And do you think it makes trading Sam more likely than trading Simons? As it stands now, feels like Simons is more likely to go because of his contract situation. I agree with what you said. I think Simons is more likely to go. But I think Hauser has a better chance of getting a higher return. I think Simons is a better player, obviously, but because Simons isn't under contract, this is it. Whoever trades for him is going to have to then turn around and pay him and hope he stays, right? Where Sam Hauser, you still have under contract for a couple of years, and he's cheaper. If I do think the Celtics could, if Kata turns out to be a real center, I do be here for two reasons. One, they need a real center, but two, it allows them to free up some of the resources that they've snapped off of their roster this year with all of their trades for next season, and not have to invest it in like a big time starting center, right? Because that, to me, that's like priority number one, is figure out who the hell is going to start at the 5 next year. And if it is Kata, we already have him under contract for very, very cheap. Then go ahead and use that money to go get yourself like another backup power forward, maybe another true point guard, something like that. So I do think that's pretty huge. Dash Life said, we're not getting Kuzma, bro. That's from yesterday. Yeah, let's not get... I don't want to get Kuzma. I was just bringing up, if Simons is going to be included in that Milwaukee deal, somebody like Kuzma also has to be included. And then Mikey Spags says, stop lying. Celtics are doing absolutely shit right now, and you're pumping up shit for nothing. There we go. Mikey Spags, appreciate you putting in 2 poop emojis, okay? Not everybody has the ability to find the emoji on the keyboard, but Mikey Spags, you're built different, baby. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Hit the subscribe on the way out. We'll see you over the weekend. We'll be back.